free. You guys can't see the other ones, but this is take free. So, I'm sorry about the switch up. I got 4 and 3 switched up. But, and in advance, I'm babysitting and these children aren't quiet. So if I feel like you can't hear me, I'll repeat it. And if you can't hear me, I don't know. Anyways, so not necessarily a reminder, but just a kind of look back since I got it confused. And it's been a few days since lesson 2. Lesson 2 was titled Just Do It. So in response to that with the question, day 3 is titled Do What? So, and day 2 I read in Matthew. I'm going to reread that. Matthew 28, 19 through 20. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age.
I don't like it.
So, I'm going to be talking about the Great Commission. And do you guys know what that is? I'll wait. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding because, you know. Okay, so as Christians, I'm going to act like you don't know what it is, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. So as Christians, the Great Commission is what Jesus tells us to do with our lives. And as it says in Matthew 28, 19 through 20, as we go, we are supposed to make disciples. So what does it mean to make disciples? This can be a kind of a question that's asked but kind of looked over. And are we supposed to baptize them? You know, sprinkle a little water around like bam, 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 you baptized. No, don't do that. Or carry around a super soaker, call it the super soaker of salvation. Don't do either of those. Don't. I just threw those in as jokes. Gotta laugh. Anyways, but we should be making disciples as we are going. Not, like I said before, I feel like, not after we're done living our lives, not before, not just when we feel like it, but as we're going through everything we do. And, so that should be something that we're kind of instilling through everything that we do. And, where is it at? A disciple is someone who follows another person's way of life and teaching. So, for example, Jimmy, our pastor at church. So he preaches every Sunday, Wednesday. He lives his life by the Bible, and so this is just an example. This hasn't actually happened, but say Jimmy's preaching Sunday, and after church, I'll pick on him because he always mentions McDonald's. He goes to McDonald's and he orders a Big Mac, and they give him a quarter pounder. Well, Jimmy's mad. He's aggravated. He's upset. He uses choice words. He's very rude to these people. And he just doesn't live Christ-like. And okay. And so, thank you, Grayson. So, anyways. Okay. Are you done? Anyways, so it's hard to follow somebody who is only partially followable, like who lives how they're supposed to. So when you're trying to lead others, is the point that I'm getting to. When you're trying to lead others, you need to be intentional in everything you do. Don't be a good Christian one day and then decide the next day, you know, oh no, it's not for me today. But no, we need to be intentional in everything we do, every time we do it, everywhere we go. Yes, that's what I meant to say. So, I feel like I just said this, but I'll re-say it because it's important. So if you want to make disciples, live your life different from other people like Jesus did. So Jesus, as great as he is, and all the things that he did, he was not liked by everybody. If a group was doing one thing, he didn't do that just because they were. So he lived how he was supposed to. He did what he was supposed to, and that doesn't mean that we're always going to be liked, but that's just something that comes with the package. It's just a package deal. So Live your life following God like Jesus did, and let others follow his example from your life. So we're supposed to be kind of a reflection of Jesus' life. Like, we're not going to be perfect like Jesus was, but we should try every day through the things that we do. And by just that, by being intentional through everything you do, you can be a lot to somebody without even meaning to. Not necessarily not meaning to, but not even realizing it is what I meant. So, like, for example, if your parents go through a drive-through and they decide to bless somebody's day and pay for the person behind them, well, not only have they blessed them, but say that person behind them has blessed the next person who couldn't afford what they were getting. And so just stuff like that, it can kind of, like, you can bless people through the things you do, even when that's not what. Okay, Grayson. Okay. So I read that.
Which one?
So I kind of done some, Grayson.
What?
Here, take your juice. Go that way.
Turn.
So I kind of done some.
Horse.
I kind of did like a commentary. I think that's what it's called. Grayson. Here, come sit with me.
Picture.
No, it's not a picture. Here, sit here. So, kind of did like a commentary thing. Okay. Shh. No, you have to be quiet. Shh. Look. Shh. Okay, go this way. Go sit with Sissy.
Go.
So, kind of did like a commentary thing from Matthew 18:19 through 20. So, when it says make disciples of all nations, this reminds us that disciples are made. Disciples are not spontaneously created. They are a product of a process involving other believers. This making of disciples is the power of spreading Christianity. And when it says of all nations, the aim of Jesus' disciples, therefore, was to make disciples of all men everywhere without distinction. So when we're making disciples, we can't have a checklist of, oh, they have brown hair, can't do it. Oh, he's too tall. Oh, she's friends with Betty Sue across the road. I don't know. Like, without distinction, make disciples of all people everywhere. And when it says teaching them to observe all things that I commanded you, disciples are made through teaching, not with just words, but through the power of Jesus. We as followers of Jesus are responsible to present the whole counsel of God to those who are made disciples. So we, in the Bible, we don't get to choose what we believe is true and not. Like, we don't put our opinions in there. Especially when you're trying to lead somebody, because opinions don't matter when it comes to the Bible. And so what the Word says is what the Word says, and what the Word says goes. So when you do that, don't teach them to observe all things that you think it means, but teach them to observe all things that he commanded. And when it says, and surely I am with you always to the very end of the age, Jesus sent his disciples with a mission to fulfill, but he didn't send them alone. The promise of his constant presence was more than enough to strengthen and guide the disciples as they obeyed Jesus. So with that, even as Jesus's disciples weren't alone, that they had Jesus's presence, we also have Jesus's presence. Like, this ain't no Lone Ranger game. Like, when you're going out and discipling and reaching out to people, do it through Jesus, and remind yourself that you're filled with his presence, and don't lean on your own understanding or what you think it means. Go by the Bible, pray. And so the questions will be after this.
Bye.